still available, and there it is from Empathy into the Pentaslash. And I have to wonder about that cooldown choice from Sheetal. Drops him, gets a knockdown from the pressure point, tries for the triple kick, doesn't get it. Blade Barrier being used by the Blade Dancer. Empathy. He has the pressure on his side right now. Gets Martial Dance, chases down with a Blazing Fist. Shiro-chan looking to do some damage right now. Goes into the air combo. Uses Leading Palm. Knockdown. Let's see what he does on the knockdown game. Empathy chooses no option, and Shiro-chan doesn't follow up. Charge Stun into the air combo. And this has been so back and forth. No clear victor just yet, but Shiro-chan is very low, and there's a lightning draw. And Tab was not really used on Shiro-chan's part. It was really just chipping damage. It was mostly a game played in a neutral stance. And I think that the big thing that happened for Shiro at that point was the committing the pressure point and the tremor before the tab was down. I think that's what really made it difficult for him.
Yep. Alright, so good match. I am going to invite you again.
Empathy. Just winning by chipping away using air combos. We didn't see blade draw. We didn't see animation canceling at all. He just stunned, lifted into the air, used Pentaslash. Finisher, he used lightning draw very well. And that earned him the win. Empathy. I mean, he seems to know what he needs to do to win this match. Shiro, on the other hand, maybe needs to be a little more patient with his cooldown usage. I really feel like the early tremor hurt him a lot in this matchup. Let's see if he makes the adjustment. Here comes the Blade Dancer, opening very early. Gets a charge stun. There we see left button, right button in neutral stance. Air combo is going to do quite a bit of damage. Goes for the grab. Drops the Kung Fu Master again and tries to go for the blade draw, but gets triple kicked instead. And that's going to be a good amount of damage for the Kung Fu Master. Gets a little bit of animation canceling, and here's a Rising Dragon. Uses the Ice Block to block any reversal option from Empathy. Very smart from Shiro-chan, and I like this adjustment. Blade Dancer at about 55% health right now. Martial Dance. Reflex Roll being chased down with a Blazing Fist. Very good execution on Shiro's part. Pentaslash into the air combo, and we see this time and time again from Empathy. He's already used his blade draw, so he won't have that as an option. Grab into the drop, stun into the air combo again, and Shiro down to about 15% health. And this is the time Shiro needs to make a comeback. This is his time right now. Reflex Roll being tried to chase it down with a blade draw, but doesn't quite get it. Right by the stun is going to be avoided. Guard break from the Blade Dancer, but still no damage being put onto the Kung Fu Master. Ice Block being spent. No response. There's a perfect knockdown. Chases the Reflex Roll with the Blazing Fist. No chase down on that Reflex Roll for the Blade Dancer, however, and Shiro needs to make a difference right now, and he doesn't get it. He gets sent into the air again, and so close. It was so close. He was so close to making a play.
Yeah, but he just cannot get the combos off. Shiro always having, Empathy always having the escape. And then, yeah, Shiro just not getting another stun onto Empathy. Very, very well played. Shiro just unable to get a good combo, and then, you know, some good damage onto Shiro. Onto
by the way,
sorry.
Shiro is a she. Just for reference.
Shiro is a she.
Alright.
Sorry about that. So she's been doing very well so far, but I think the thing that really stopped her from winning that match was getting hit by the tab at the end. He had the knockdown, and he caught the Reflex Roll with a Blazing Fist, or rather she caught the Reflex Roll with a Blazing Fist, but then when she went back in, she got hit by the tab, and that caused her to have to Reflex Roll back, and that space created is really important because it makes it difficult for you to use your strafe dodging. And I think if he had maybe backdashed a tab or stayed away and just avoided getting hit by the daze, she would have had a lot more defensive options into the next few moments of the match. So Shiro on the back foot, Empathy, looking very strong. Already got one game for himself, so he's up 1-0 right now. In strong is he? He's got to get the stun into the animation canceling into the air combo. We saw the same opener in the last round. Let's see what Shiro does differently. Gets picked up, dropped on the floor, and immediately responds with a freeze. It's going to give Shiro some space. But Blade Barrier is going to stop. Oh my god, and he just tried for the blade draw? Gets put into the air combo with a triple kick for it. Rising Dragon, not going to work, because the Reflex Roll was out at that time. Going to try to animation cancel Blazing Palm. Knows that the tab is coming in, beautiful strafe, and that's the adjustment that I was looking for. The triple kick somehow doesn't land the stun, but he gets another opening. There's a tremor, and this is the end. This could be the end for Empathy, and good animation canceling, and that was what we were waiting for. The dodge on the tab is so important. It's so important in this matchup. And when Shiro hit that perfectly, comes back in, gets the CC, uses a tremor, and then just like we saw with Red Eyes, good animation canceling, closes out the game, and Shiro finally going to put herself up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, a little bit greedy from Empathy trying to go for the blade draw when he did, and Shiro being able to capitalize on it, getting a stun, beautiful dodge on the tab as you said, and then just being able to get another stun on there and finishing him off with a good amount of damage.
Yeah, and that was a beautiful round from the Kung Fu Master. I'm sure Red Eyes will be pleased with that. It was very calculated, very smart use of the strafe dodging, and in general, really good job avoiding the damage that Empathy was trying to put out. But definitely right now, from what I'm seeing in this match, it really looks like it's on the Kung Fu Master to really try to avoid a lot of the CC. You know, he has to avoid the charge, pentaslashes, grabs, so many things. And if the Kung Fu Master just drops the ball just a little bit, you end up getting punished pretty hard for that, as we saw. I mean, Empathy so far has really not got any blade draw combos. He hasn't really got the big animation canceling damage. He's just gone for air combos, and that's been winning him matches. Finally, Shiro gets one on the scoreboard. Opener is not similar in the last few games quite yet. Ice block being used. He's probably should martial dance soon and gets a right button stun into the blade draw stance, but ends up just going for the air combo anyways. Ice block down for the Kung Fu Master at this point. Avoids the right button. And that's good choice from the Kung Fu Master to delay the backdash. But gets air comboed anyways. And Sheetal down to about 40% health. Into the grab. Tab still available for the Kung Fu Master. And there's a good triple kick. Backdash into the knockdown. Slow get up option being chosen by the Blade Dancer. And finally there's a tab. Chase down with the Blazing Palm. Tab is still available. Rising Dragon being used. And a good strafe from Sheetal. Excellent read on his opponent. On her opponent rather. There's a tremor missing the opportunity right there. The spin is going to avoid the stun. And this is looking really bad for the Kung Fu Master. A lot of cooldowns have been used up right now. And Shiro's going to need to play defensively for just a bit. Blade Barrier being used and a good backdash to avoid that grab. Very good reads. And finally here comes the animation canceling combo from Empathy to close it out. And that was pretty much the expected outcome, I think. Empathy just had so much pressure from the neutral game. No tab available just meant that Empathy just had to land one stun to close out the match.
Yeah. No tab ready on Shiro, sadly, and then Blade Draw still ready on Empathy and just absolutely destroying her at the very end there. Shiro she managed to dodge the tab, but then wasn't quite able to continue her combo. Empathy being able to get out of the stun combo there. For some reason, Shiro did leave my group. I believe it wasn't quite over yet.
Yeah.
Give me just a second.
Yeah, if Empathy wins one more, then Empathy will move on to the semis. But if Shiro wins one more, then it will be 1-1 in terms of games. One of the things that I think was really big...
Ah, she crashed. All right.
One of the things that I think was really hurt Shiro in that game was when she got that last knockdown and she tried to go for the tremor, it was too late. Now, one of the things that you have to know about tremor is that it actually goes through blocks, right? And so when you have somebody in a knockdown, they have a few options, either the slow get up or the counter. And in that situation, Empathy actually used the slow get up. And so if Shiro had just gotten the knockdown and then committed to tremor right then, she would have gotten the stun and would have been able to animation cancel and probably win the match off of it. So the fact that the stun came just a little bit too late, because the slow get up, what you have to know is you're actually vulnerable for the first few seconds, or rather the first split second, kind of like half a second when you use it. If you get hit, you get re-knocked down, or you can get hit by CC and get stunned and whatnot. So if the tremor had happened right at that moment, she would have gotten the max duration stun on the tremor, animation cancel, and close the game out. But she was too late. And once the slow get up gets to a certain duration, you're actually immune to CC for 1 second. So even if the tremor did land cleanly and the Blade Dancer wasn't spinning at that point in time, the tremor would not have worked. And then the Blade Dancer was spinning on top of that, and that gave him extra CC protection. So the thing is, when you get that knockdown, you have a choice to think about normally, right? Is the player going to counter? If the player's going to counter, you need to wait. You need to wait for the counter to drop, and then you need to come in with your CC right when that happens. But for Tremor, because it goes through the block, you actually don't need to wait. You can actually just knock down and go immediately into the Tremor. Now, the only time you have to be careful about this is if the character has a long duration block. Because if the character gets knocked down and uses a counter, and you stun on top of it, the counter will still persist, but the player will be stunned, right? So you do still need to wait for that counter to run out, but you will have them locked down in a stun. And so perhaps a smarter choice for Shiro at that point in time was just to immediately use a Tremor at that point. And that probably could have earned her the win, but unfortunately not quite how it played out. And it's easy to talk about these situations, but it's very hard to grasp in the match, and that could make the difference. You know, this familiarity with the game situation could mean the difference between Sheetal-chan getting eliminated here and having the opportunity to move on to the semis. She's demonstrated some good gameplay. Her defensive play is on point. I mean, we talked about the good use of the strafe dodges to avoid the tabs, and we saw that beautiful use of the backdash against the grab, and also backdashing other situations with like the right button stun and blade draw for empathy, the bolt step I believe it's called. But in the end, if you play well defensively, you still need a way to put damage on your opponent, and I think that's been what's missing from Shiro right now. Goes for the sweep, doesn't get it. Charge stun from Empathy is going to earn the air combo, and every single game we've seen Empathy getting the opener. This perhaps is something that Shiro can work on also. Freeze counter to the grab. Shiro going to use the strafe. Tries to triple kick, but that's not going to work, and a good use of Blade Barrier on the knockdown after the backdash. Empathy building himself some space, chases down the reflex roll with the charge stun. Here comes the animation canceling. Tab being spent, chases down the reflex roll with the blazing palm into the air combo. Tab still available for the Blade Dancer. Rising Dragon being committed, using the strafe dodge in case the tab was being spent. Knockdown again by Empathy. Gonna use a slow get up, and Sheetal doesn't get the sweep. Gets grabbed up, and this could be a lot of damage. Pentaslash into another air combo. Empathy looking to make up that health differential, and he does well doing so. 40% slow get up by the Kung Fu Master. Martial Dance doesn't have a chase. Tremor is still available, but so is Tab. And a good backdash into the knockdown. There's a counter into another sweep. Animation canceling, slow get up. There's a Tremor. Tab being spent. Uses a strafe, and Empathy is just not going to commit. He's going to lose a lot of health. Rising Dragon still available for the Kung Fu Master, and you can guarantee that the Tab is coming here, and a good dodge. Blade Barrier being spent by Empathy, but now it's all about Empathy. Tab being spent by the Kung Fu Master. It's still a very dangerous situation. Into the air combo, and this could be it. Does he have the lightning draw at the end? This could be the last hit. Oh, and he just uses the left button and closes it out. And Shiro fought hard, but in the end, she couldn't really close out the matches that she was playing against Empathy.
Yep. She was committing a tap and then sadly attacking into the counter, into the spin counter, and at that point, Empathy just finishing her off. It was quite close. This time she was able to do a lot more damage during her combo, especially during the knockdown phase. She got the spacing, she got the skills in the right time, but sadly wasn't quite able to finish it off with that.
Yeah, and really unfortunate. Shiro's hand was forced at that point for her tab. Ideally, she would want to hold the tab until after the strafe was spent by Empathy, but the situation could have arisen where Empathy could just stun and immediately launch into the air. And the instant Shiro was put into the air, as we saw, her health was not enough to actually survive. So she had to spend the tab at that time. This game would have been incredibly different if Shiro's tab had hit Empathy. But with that being said, Empathy moves on, and so I think we have all our semifinal matches decided at this point.
Exactly. So we are going to move on to the semifinals, and our first matchup will be Donjon the Destroyer against Red Ace, our Kung Fu Master. Alright, so I am going to invite Donjon. So yeah, this time we'll see Donjon very aggressive with his Fury and his Red Spin, his Hurricane usage, and he was able to basically win games off of that in his previous matchup against, let me just check, against Isolum. Isolum just wasn't quite able to get away from the Hurricane and taking a lot of damage from that, but I believe that Red Ace will not fall victim to that Red Spin.
Let's see what Red Eyes can do. I mean, it's interesting because I'm pretty sure Red Eyes has had an opportunity to see Donjon play now that because he finishes matches quite early on, and I think he has had the opportunity to see dungeon perform.
Alright, so... Oh, there he is. Alright. I just didn't quite see him there. Alright, so I
Okay.